Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cyber Witch, your online resource for spiritual development. My name is Orly, and I have been working as a psychic and clairvoyant for almost 20 years. And I also work as a spiritual counselor, helping people with all different kinds of situations in this fascinating world that we live in. Please hit like and subscribe for new videos every week. Today, we are talking about messages from the spirit world as it interacts with you. We will discuss signs of spirit contact in this world full of illusions and various techniques so you can check your experiences and interactions with spirits so it will be well guided. The spirit world will guide you in all different kinds of directions. And that's because there are so many different forces out there. Some are going to be helpful and some are not. And there's always going to be various levels of things at play, no matter what you're doing and no matter your various level of comprehension of other dimensional interactions and your personal spiritual ecosystem in your life. It doesn't matter how advanced you are, we're always going to be having influences from both positive and negative spiritual forces, and they have different signs, omens, different ways that those things show up in your life, not just in times when you're immersed in prayer or ritual, but just like through your daily life. As you go about your day, you receive signs, messages, information from the spirit world, and that will guide you and influence your life. So today we're going to break that down, and I'm going to give you different techniques and methods so you can look at what you're experiencing and then use this information to help guide your spiritual experiences so you will be guided well with forces that are trying to help you to become more evolved and discover that God force within you from our beautiful Gnostic perspective in life. So there are different ways and signs that spirits will use to contact you. Some examples would be feeling different thoughts come into your mind that are out of the ordinary, beyond your just mundane thoughts, like something that's just popping into your head. It could even be in your own voice. It could be in no voice, but just like a feeling that just comes over you. And you could have visions. And by a vision, it doesn't necessarily mean like a particular tableau is appearing in front of you in some coherent way. It can be anything that's stimulating your psychic senses. So some kind of concept or situation or message just comes over you. And for every individual, it's going to happen in different ways depending on how open you are to what is beyond just the face value of reality, just like going through your day, but looking at things deeper. So this can even be things like having a daydream come into your mind, paranormal activity in like a visceral sense. So that's other ways the spirits can contact us, by like knocking something over, trying to get your attention, moving something around. All these kind of things that people actually physically witness are other ways that spirits try to get our information to us because they want our attention. They're trying to get you to pay attention to something, and that's either for a positive or negative reason. And that is something that I'm going to help you to work through today to figure out what you're going through. So other times and ways that spirits will contact you are when you are having a dream. So obviously dreams are full of a lot of different types of things, but spirit contact can and does occur to people in dreams. And that's something that we could really get into a lot, but I'll just leave it at that point for today's discussion, as well as in the liminal spaces between waking and sleeping. Very often that time is a very profound time for having some kind of spiritual messages, thoughts, visions come either into your mind, or you might actually see something either at night, when your eyes are open, between that space of waking and sleeping, just staring off into the ambient darkness, or even when you wake up. That time is very ripe for those types of contact. And other times can be when you are immersing yourself in prayer. So let's say you're doing a bunch of mantras for a long period of time, or you are doing yoga to get into a deep samadhi state. Those are ways where spirits will contact you through really immersive spiritual praying, ritual, chanting, drumming, those kind of things. And then that is opening a space for those things to come through into your life. However, when we're adhering to this vast topic today, the spirit contact isn't just contact that comes when we're choosing to initiate contact by praying or asking spirits to come forward to us. This is just opening your awareness as well to the messages that come through as you go about your day, and how to decipher what is real and helpful and what is going to help us to grow versus getting strung along with petty gains and then an overall loss. And so this is stuff that I help people with very often who come to me for help in the work that I do, because people are having a lot of experiences of spiritual contact, be it feeling like certain entities are coming forward to them, manifesting in their life in various ways, people feeling like they're not alone and they have various things around them and trying to make some sense of what that is, or feeling like they're just having a hard time getting through life because they feel like they're really tapped in spiritually and doing all these things that they think they need to do and putting a lot of work into that, but then overall life is still very difficult and they need help making some sense of what to do. And so this is where analyzing these signs becomes very beneficial. So when we are looking at a spiritual practice, which is everything that you do in your life, not just when you're praying, but also things like how you carry yourself, what you're actually thinking about inside, your interests, taking time to devote to learning important knowledge, reading, studying, all these types of things, exercise, healthy diet, all that kind of stuff plays into this. And so when we are having growth from the work that we're doing, it can go in a positive or negative way, but sometimes it will go in a positive way and then go into a negative way, and vice versa, because life is always changing and we are always evolving and going forward into that. And I was talking about how it can be really difficult to decipher what's happening because, of course, we live in a world of illusions. So, as I've mentioned before, I'm a student learning different Vedic texts because I'm training to be a yoga teacher. And a big part of what we study is this concept of how the world is illusions. And of course, that bears the question of, like, what is the point of everything if we live in a world that is full of illusions? And there's a lot of really vast and beautiful answers to this, some of it being this is how the spirit world, how the divine, the cosmic mind, God, whatever you want to call it, experiences itself through us. And then also, we have a unique opportunity to be born here on Earth. And this is why Earth is so heavily sought after by other dimensional forces and all these things that are trying to control it. Because when we incarnate here on Earth, we have a unique opportunity to make choices in our life to help ourselves evolve through various lifetimes. with that in mind, according to the yogis, we can benefit from all of our incarnations to evolve over time. And we are incarnating to learn about who we are and to learn about our purpose, our dharma, our svidharma of what we're doing here. And for some people, it's some big thing. And for some people, it's more personal about how you're interacting with your community or whatever it is on a scale that gives meaning to you, that helps you evolve. And there's a lot of really great beauty and mystery in that. And so, that being said, a lot of people might find that they are more prone to spirit contact and spirits coming through to them because of things that you have already been working on in your other lives, where you have developed these things, and it's all going to start seeping through because time is not linear and all these things coalesce in various dimensions simultaneously. So that can be a reason why people have even heightened paranormal experiences just by going to some kind of sacred place, even by accident, or by being around other people that have a very high spiritual charge. Like, all that stuff can catalyze those experiences for you. And people get very confused because they have all these experiences from demons, from spirit companions, and they don't know if it is good or bad, and they'll come to me and they'll ask. And the main thing is for you to look at it and, is this experience helping you? So what I teach people in the spirit companion video course that has all my teachings about the incubus and succubus spirits, that's linked on my website in the description of this video, one of the main things that I teach about is how, if you are careful about the types of spirits that you're working with, some of them can actually be really wonderful and helpful because we develop a deep cyclical connection of energy where the energy is helping in a mutual way, where we are tapping into other dimensions through deep love of these spirits. So your energy is not being lost. Whereas very often in those cases, if people really don't know what they're doing, it can become a very draining situation in any kind of spiritual relationship. So you just have to be really aware of the overall greater picture of what's going on and how it's making you feel. And so that is the first thing to really think about. And the idea is, very often when we are being led along by spirits that are not helping us, which can be caused by so many things, okay? So that can be caused by spiritual stuff that you are doing that's bringing low-level forces into your life. It can be caused by lots of negative emotions that bring negative forces around you. It can be caused by the environment that you're in. It can be caused by technologies that can create this. And it's also caused by the forces of the archons that are essentially going out of their way to enslave humanity and stop people from evolving. And that will happen no matter what spiritual level you're on. And even as you progress further, you are going to get attacked harder by these forces who try to drag you down, who try to make you feel emotions just out of nowhere to stop you from what you're doing. And that can even affect people around you if they can't get through to you. So it's really important to look at your growth in a way that is not what is just going on in the moment, because very often when we are deeply spiritual and we're working to help ourselves evolve, we will go through ordeals, we will go through hardships that can often seem extremely difficult to go through. And so this, obviously, to people in the moment, seems like something very negative. However, sometimes when we look at it years later, we can see the benefit and understand that this actually did need to happen for us in life for some reason, and we become grateful for those experiences. So that's something that can't always be seen easily in the moment. But what people often think is, oh, this is something bad and I'm causing bad things to happen. But they often don't think when good things just keep happening and it's actually low-level forces that are granting those little things along to lead you into just giving and giving and giving your energy. And then you look back at it over time and you think like, oh, I was getting all these things that I wanted, but then your life is just in shambles and in chaos. So how did that happen? If all the things that you wanted were just happening, how is everything suddenly in chaos and shambles? And it wasn't a learning experience. It didn't happen for a reason that actually helped you, and you're worse off than you began. So this is something that happens to people very, very easily because there are so many forces that will come in and pretend to be a powerful spirit, or pretend to be a demon, or pretend to be a god, or whatever it is, to try and deceive you. And those aren't even necessarily inherently spiritual, because there are technologies as well that can cause this in people. And so it's very important to look at these things in a very careful way. So what are some signs and symptoms of things going in a negative, positive way that you can actually check and see what's going on for yourself? So negative signs from spirits are going to be having the emotion of apathy, laziness, not wanting to get anything done, hopelessness, intense anger where you just lose all sense of self and don't have any control over yourself, trying to get you into problems with different substances, things that draw you into having worse health by what you're taking actions on. And then also, when you're having negative signs, it would be noticing like you are becoming isolated from people who love and care about you, from your beliefs. And then your life will become chaotic and unstable. And this leads to a loss of feeling of purpose and a loss of feeling of your beautiful connection to the universe, where the universe really is reaching out to every single one of us at every moment, trying to help and guide us through the part of ourselves that has God within us. That is what we talk about when we're raising ourselves to the frequency of Lucifer, so we can actually see and understand these messages that are going on beyond all the illusions that are trying to trick you and guide you down these paths that are just feeding off of your desires and your senses on the most base levels of robotic slavery, essentially. So positive signs of a spirit guiding you are going to be things like having increased energy, developing skills in arts, sciences, anything creative, becoming more eloquent and intelligent, having a deeper connection to people in life who love and care about you, feeling at peace, having positive changes happen in your life that are taking you in a direction of finding and discovering your purpose and learning who you are. So those are actually signs that come from the spirit world, all of those things. It's not always going to be like you're having an apparition that's like, hello there, I'm here to give you this message today. The signs come through literally every single thing that you are experiencing in your life, in your direct life. Those are the signs. That's what I'm trying to say here. People get really lost and caught up looking for like hearing a song that has a message, or having a dream where everything is explained to you of your purpose, and a spirit being like, hello, I have this specific message for you. The signs from everything that you're developing will come through in the easiest way possible, and that's through your direct reality. And that is how amazing the universe actually is, because it is reality itself that communicates with you. So you want to look at all dramatic life experiences in hindsight All right, so now let's get into more ways that we can check and look at different signs to analyze them to see if it is taking us in a positive or negative direction. So, first of all, think about how is it making you feel overall? So, whatever message you've received from the spirit, whatever it is that you saw, that you heard, that came to you, that you experienced through whatever means, how does that experience make you feel? Okay? Then think about, is what just happened being caused by something you accumulated in your subconscious from your senses? Or is it being triggered from your desires? Because if it is, and if it's pulling on those weaknesses that you have in you and making you react emotionally, very often that is going to be caused by low level negative forces that are trying to trigger you into reacting to things so you can spiral out of control and lose your grounding in life. And so you want to be really careful about how these things make you feel. Sometimes they make us think about things that are hard because we do need to do that work on those things and acknowledge it if it's something you're ignoring. But if you already have dealt with it and there's nothing else you can do and it's just pulling on that and trying to quote unquote trigger you, then you really need to try to be careful of those things. And so how has the spiritual work you have been doing affect the signs that you're experiencing? So think about, like, what were you doing? Were you doing something even seemingly unrelated, praying for something unrelated, asking for something unrelated, and then these signs happen? And then think about what that means, because that, even if it doesn't seem like it's directly related to it, you can find a connection and figure out these things. And another thing is to think about, like, have you been around other spiritual people or places that could cause you to have these experiences? So if you're having some profound experience, be it hard or easy, beautiful or terrifying to behold, what were you just around? And then you can know, like, okay, was I in a positive or negative location? Was I around people who made me feel positively or negatively? And then you have this experience. So then you can look at it in relation to that and see, is it actually good or is it actually bad, even if it seems hard? But sometimes things that seem good are just a way to try to make you fall for what is the easiest path. And that's never going to be the way to your enlightenment. We have to grow. So another thing that you can do when you are literally in a spiritual setting and communicating with a spirit is to use some kind of system for communication to understand the messages more clearly. My personal favorite method is working with the tarot. And if you want to learn that from me, there's an extremely detailed video course on my website linked in the description where I teach about that. But tarot cards are a great way to do that. Or using a method where you have coded questions. So you have your questions that you want to ask the spirit and you put them in a code and you don't even know what you have done with the code. So you've coded it in a way where you don't even know what the questions are anymore. So let's say you number the questions and then on another piece of paper, you jumble the letters all up so it just looks like a number and then a bunch of just randomness next to it, and then just show that and ask that and then see what the answer is. So you don't even know exactly what it is that you have asked at the time. Write your answer down and see if the spirit knows what it is that you're referring to. And that's a great sign of contacting intelligences that can actually help you and aren't just trying to confuse you because they have that. But really the best way is developing your psychic senses of knowing, like, is this something that's too good to be true? And then just looking at things without trying to force anything to happen and allowing the experience to just help you evolve. And so negative spiritual interactions will have different side effects that people might not notice until far later. So it's really important to pay attention to this list. So negative spiritual interactions will cause confusion and lead you into further distress over time as your energy from your negative emotions is literally fed upon by forces outside of yourself. And then that will keep influencing you to make bad choices. And very often people think they're cursed, but they're literally just being influenced to constantly make these bad choices. And that further brings their life into chaos. And feeling like if you were to just keep doing more of whatever your spiritual practice is, this will somehow fix things. And thus, it just further enslaves you into that. So, that's really important to think about. And then, on the other hand, positive spiritual interactions will start to form synchronicities. And synchronicities are super important to think about and incorporate into your daily life, the noticing and understanding of synchronicities, because this is literally like the language that the cosmic mind uses to give us messages. And so a synchronicity is when seemingly random things connect together and it starts to form a path that helps guide you from one synchronicity to another. And these things will actually make logical sense when you look at what the synchronicity is. So, an example of a synchronicity is you talking about something to a friend and then you seeing that same thing later on in the day. That's a synchronicity. Or a synchronicity could even be showing you something spiritual while you're thinking or talking about something like that. And usually the things to follow are ones that are related to your spiritual practice or whatever it is that you are trying to pursue in life, like following the things that lead that together. So it makes it literally like the universe is alive and giving you cues of what to pursue and what to follow as you go through your days. And it will make things better for you in life if you're following them carefully. But of course, there's always that way where it can lead to confusion and chaos in life if you're not keeping yourself in alignment. So forces can use all of these kinds of phenomena to confuse you. Both positive forces can help you, but of course the low-level forces can also use this to confuse you. And people following synchronicities has often led to a lot of bad things to happen for people, but they weren't following the right synchronicities. That's the thing. You've got to look at it overall. Does the synchronicity make sense in a way where it's leading me to better health, better happiness, so I can help the world in the most positive way? Those are the syncs to follow. And there's so many signs and omens and synchronicities and messages coming through from the spirit world to people all the time. And that's why I am helping people all the time with this kind of stuff, because it's just amazing because of how awakened people are to the spirit world nowadays. So it will make it so everything you experience in life has the possibility to have a spiritual significance if you pay attention to what you are thinking about or doing and what is going on in your mind as you go through your life when the synchronicities happen. So the living universe forms syncs with your spirit guides, and they will make things happen like even repeating numbers to get your attention, and other omens like experiencing something that directly responds to your mind, like a song playing or a related subject to show how you are connected into the cosmic mind by giving you these Gnostic experiences of a living universe that's connected directly into you. And that helps to guide you to an evolved life by raising your awareness of the synchronicities. So, with all of this stuff going on, what do you do next? Well, it's really helpful also to just write down what it is that you're experiencing in any way and have a recorded date, and then just check back to that later to verify, because that's a good way to know. You're applying the methods of science to it so you can see what works and what doesn't work. And if you are feeling very confused about all this, find someone that you can actually trust to talk to about your spiritual experiences that can help you see the bigger picture of what's going on in your life now, where you've been before, where you see yourself, and they can really analyze that to know, is what you're doing actually helping? Are your experiences leading you on a positive or negative direction? And what everything else is going on. And if you do want direct help from me, you can get a consultation from me through the link on my website in the description. I work as a spiritual counselor and I love helping people through our amazing and strange universe. Thank you so much for watching. If you have more thoughts on this, please definitely share them with everyone in the comments below. If you would like to reach me for any of my spiritual services or my online classes, all that stuff is linked in the description for you as a resource. Thank you so much to all the channel members and patrons. Please subscribe if you're new and hit like to help us with the algorithm, and I'll see you next time. Bye.